a student of Baron Katie for quite a while.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that she very often repeats, and I heard you say something a little bit similar earlier, which is that, how do I know that something should be happening? It's because it is happening.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm losing my job, and then I say, well, I should be losing my job because it's happening. And I sort of get it, but I don't quite get it. And so I wonder if you could be more precise on this.
Yes. So just remove the word should altogether, really. And by the way, I love Katie. She's one of the clearest people on the planet. I really just adore her. She has been very important teacher for me. I did her work here for 5 years. But having said that, she and I both use language unskillfully at times. And that idea that I should be losing my job, it's a way of pointing something out to the mind. But what we're pointing out is that this is what's happening. This is what's happening. This is what is. And what is really, there's no should or shouldn't to it. But in order to counteract that I shouldn't be losing my job, we introduce the yes, you should. But the fact is that neither position is actually true. The real truth is that you are losing your job, and it just is. Now, once you can recognize that it just is, then you take away the personal sense of it that it should or shouldn't. We in defense of mine and Katie's position, which is that it should be happening, what we're saying is that because it is happening, there's a lot of evidence that that's what should be happening. And when we say should, we just mean it is happening, but it'll feel like should happen. What we mean is that there is that the only reason that you shouldn't be losing your job is from the perspective, is the localized perspective, from the sense of the sense of Fabrice-ness. Fabrice knows that he shouldn't be losing his job. And I get that completely. But on another, on a more true level, there's no Fabrice. So what's happening is just what's happening. And this is actually tied in very much what John and I were just discussing, is that the only thing that's over there, the only thing that was born, so to speak, in the Fabrice story was there was a sense of individuality. There is a sense of being, and there is a sense of individuality. There's a sense I am, and then there's the further sense I am Fabrice. So, and what we do is we privilege a single body out of the billions, and we say, I am this one. And from this perspective, it's the center of the universe. You can watch how and notice that your vision, which we're all completely married to, we're just slaves to our vision. And our vision always leaves us believing I am the center of the universe. Because I see there's me here on this side of my skin, and then there's the world on that side of my skin. And no matter which way I look, I'm at center. How about that? Same thing with hearing. Was that all of the sounds are coming directly to the center of my ear. I don't even know how you people are hearing things. So because it's coming to the center of my ear, that's what it feels like. So as long as that perspective is believed, and what Katie's teaching does, and it's incredibly skillful with, is it thins what Katie's work does is it narrows or thins out our resistance to what is, our resistance to this arising, because awakening is simply being awake to this arising. You can't accumulate it and you can't lose it. It's being awake to this arising. That's what awakeness is. If I know that this arising is the way that I'm presenting myself to myself in this so-called moment, I'm awake. And if I'm not experiencing that, I'm not awake. It doesn't mean that there hasn't been an awakening experience. Doesn't mean that awakening experience didn't happen 10 minutes ago. But it means I'm not awake to this right now, which is all that counts. What Katie's method does in that thinning out is, because if you can thin out the resistance to 100% to this happening, then guess what? There's only this, and there's no resistance. You're awake. But her methodology, adoring her methodology is better. It's a wonderful dream technology because it will give you a better experience of the dream, and it can do so instantly, and there's very much a place for that. It is a good spiritual practice because it will have you see through your own beliefs, opinions, and positions. And when you see through those, there's simply less Fabrice present or Fred present. And this is, again, because you're always here, you're always clear. That's what she knows. That's what she experiences. I'm always here, I'm always clear. But it's the thing that I'm looking through, just like I look through these glasses, I am always seeing just perfectly, but I'm not always seeing what you guys are seeing. When I put on these glasses, now I'm really seeing now we're sharing the same common reality and I'm seeing just right. But if there's a smudge, and I believe that, I don't believe I'm my glasses ever. I put my glasses on, I take my glasses off. They are clear or they are smudged. Well, what I'm telling you is that when you are not seeing clearly, which I should not be losing my job as an example of not seeing clearly, of not seeing truly. It's an understandable example, and it's not a criticism. It's just noticing that's the way units work. But it does mean that there's a smudge, that there's an occlusion in the thing that I'm viewing from. And there's an occlusion in every single one of the things I'm looking from, including this one. Because this teaching ultimately is always coming through the conditioning of Fredness, which means that it can't be 100% pure and true. It just can't. And the teaching that's coming through Katie is very clear. And it's coming through a very clear unit. But is there any occlusion to that unit? You betcha. So it's when she goes about this from the standpoint of clearing the unit until it can be seen that there is no unit. I come from the other direction. Is that, let me wake you up now to what you really are, and then we'll clear in the other direction. And I wake you so that what's being cleared up is awakeness, not the unit. Because with Katie's way, it feels very much like the unit is making progress. I'm just getting clearer and clearer. And it's not a true perspective. I mean, it's not as, I just come at it from a different degree. What started this teaching was that years ago down in my living room one night, or started this teaching at least consciously. Well, it had actually started prior to that, but I noticed it consciously, and it really began to collect and come together when I was in my living room in 2012, the summer of 2012, about now in 2012 or a little earlier. And there came to me a sudden realization, and it came through almost like a biblical vision kind of thing, where I could, just in my mind, I saw all the spiritual seekers from all the traditions lining up at the bottom of my stairwell. And they were in darkness and confusion. But there were people there that came forth that were going to help them work their way through that darkness and confusion. And toward the landing at the head of the stairs, which is where awakeness and enlightenment lived. And what I noticed in that moment is that damn near everybody died on the steps. Almost nobody made it to the landing. So to me, clearing your way toward the landing, it can be very, very skillful and provide for a very skillful dream, and it can provide awakening for a limited number of people. But what this teaching does is it starts at the landing. It starts with awakening. This is, okay, it introduces you to your true nature in a conscious way. So that now what you're doing is you're clearing up the character that you aren't, not the character that you are. I see it. There's perfectly. You see that difference? Yeah. And the difference between that is that almost everybody that talks to me will clear. Most people that will talk to me will wake up, because if they clear, it's because they're clearing away they're clearing away what they're not. So rather than, and they're not, you can't clear up something that doesn't exist. So in that Katie's method, you're trying to clear up, it will at least appear. I know she wouldn't see it this way, but it's viewed this way. Same reason I dropped my meditation practices, because they're going to be understood. Pretty much is they're going to be misunderstood, and everybody's going to be thinking I'm going to meditate to be clear later. No. Be clear now. Katie's thing is that there's a sense that you're clearing up every day. I'm making more and more progress. I'm becoming a brighter and brighter me, and I love her to death, and I'm just really. But I will tell you, I have a ton of Katie's students who have been to lots of her schools, not just one or two, but have spent a lot of time with her, and they do not know who they are, and they come here and they find that out. And then the time that they spent with Katie in clearing up this, in clearing context, is invaluable. It's tremendous. But you still got to find out who you are, in most cases, with that method. Thanks. So, any chance to talk about Katie is always fun, because her picture is right there.